Hi everyone. So I originally had a PowerPoint to go on with my presentation, but my computer is acting funny and my screen recording isn't working. It's off with the sound and video, and instead of it looking really tacky, I just let it all go. So I'm going to talk it out. So the research that I did is on African culture, on their views of dying, death, and afterlife. And I looked up a research by Lasiba Boloye. I'm pretty sure I pronounced that wrong. Um, but it talks about their culture when it comes to death, dying, and um, afterlife. And it's a really interesting research. It was pretty. It was. I found it interesting because it's something that I haven't read. I looked up a ton, and everything was really basic. I like it. It's also written by someone of African descent, where a lot of the ones I were reading, they weren't of African descent. However, they were speaking on African culture, and I like reading stuff by people, of people by people, because it gives you their honest to God insight, and they know what they're talking about. So this one was really interesting to me. Um, I also chose this because I am of African descent. I'm African American, and my views on dying, death, and afterlife is completely different of someone from Africa. So I wanted to know, Africa is a part of me, and it's a part of me that I don't know. So this little bit of who I am, or who my family is kind of interesting to get to know. And it's really different from Western culture when it comes to dying, death, and the afterlife. And that I did find interesting. To start off with dying, everything depends on tribes. So when it comes to dying, some tribes do not talk about it. They do not welcome it at all. They will try to elongate the life of an elder as long as possible. However, some tribes, I wouldn't say they welcome death, but they are more comforting when the time of death comes, not only to the elders but to the family. Their tribes are very supportive. They like to spend time with their elders and make them feel comfortable and just bring them positive vibes. And once someone passes, they do have a few rituals when it comes to like the funerals and things. Um, One ritual that I did learn, it is from South Africa, and it is from the Bapedi tribe. Can't pronounce all of these words, from Limpopo. And it is believed that when a male passes away, a married man passes away, his widowed spouse has to wear all black, and the black represents the dark cloud, the cloud of death. She has to be home before sunset, and she cannot talk to friends, neighbors, family for a time period. Now, on the reverse side, if a woman who is married dies, her widowed husband, he also has to follow the fact that he has to be in before sunset. And it's and he's forbidden from having any type of relationship with someone, from getting to a new relationship, having sex for about 6 months after the passing of his wife. And then other rituals kind of depends on the tribe. The research was more generic just to African culture. Another ritual that they have is when they go to grave sites of their loved ones, they typically sing and they do spiritual dances, and it's an all out. I want to say it's something like what we would call a family reunion, or for my family, we have family members who were in the military, and like Memorial Day, we would go into the graves, and it'll be all of my family. So that's kind of how it is for them. Or, when it's after they pass and they want to celebrate them. However, they don't view it, being that they are dead, they don't view it as they're completely gone. They, if they tell you, oh, well, I'm just talking, or I'm visiting my grandfather, I'm talking to my grandfather, they say it as if they are still present on earth as a physical being. However, they know that they are no longer a physical being. With Africa, it is more so birth, living, and dying is one entire thing. For us, you are born, you have lived, and then once you die, you're done. You're gone. As harsh as that sounds. But with them, it's they're still here. And what they call it is they call it the living dead. And that's just their ancestors. And their ancestors or living dead, what they are protectors and guiders of those amongst the living. So they are highly respected and very important to tribes, to cultures, to communities, and families. They are very respected. Excuse me. Especially if they're an elder, one who has raised the entire family, one who's been around the tribe the longest. They are amongst the most respected of those. Another ritual is, well, it's not really a ritual, but rituals differ between who passed away. So, like, it's a child versus an elder, a mother versus a father, daughter versus a son. Everything differs. How they passed away, those things entails how their funeral is, how they are celebrated after their death. And I also find that really cool that that they find death, living, and being born all as one is different phases, but one never ends. Okay, you were born, you're still living. So you're living, and once you die, to them, your spirit still lives. That's what I'm trying to say. So I found that to be extremely um, interesting. So yeah, that's pretty much all that I have. I wish I could have showed you the PowerPoint because there's some cool pictures from African funerals amongst the continent. But if I figure out how to get this to work without it messing up, I would definitely have that uploaded. But yeah, that was my presentation on African culture on dying, death, and the afterlife.